What's up guys, my name is Liam and today we're going to be taking a look at the brand new Corsair Sabre V2 Pro. This has an incredibly surprising weight coming in at an advertised 36 grams. So in this video, I'm going to be breaking down how my experience with this has been so far. We're going to be comparing it to a lot of competition out there. And hopefully by the end of this video, I'll be able to help you decide whether or not this could possibly be the perfect gaming mouse for you. So let's check it out. And before we get started today, I did want to let you know that this was sent out to me. However, everything you'll be hearing in this video is going to be my own words and my own opinions. Included inside the box, it does come with some documentation, some grips in here. These do feel all right, pretty grippy. Also does have an alcohol pad for removing the skates. It does come with an extra set of these larger style PTFE skates if you want to add those on there. Also does come with a USB-C to USB Type-A cable. Here's a look of what the wireless 8K receiver that does come included with it looks like. You do have USB-C connectivity up over here on the top. There's no type of LED indicator on here, but as you can see over here on the rear, it does actually have this clip to clip onto your mouse pad. I don't generally prefer doing that because it does kind of lift up or raise up your mouse pad a little bit. And if you were to play up there, it can kind of cause some sensor issues. But I've just been laying this on my desk. I do kind of wish that this did have like a rubberized backing or something like that. If you didn't wish to use the clip. All right, so here we got the mouse itself. We'll start out over here on the bottom functions. You do just have a on and off power button over here on the right hand side. Here are the skates that did come included on it. Like I said, there also is the full set of skates. I actually really do like the skate design that they went with on this. The one thing is, however, is this is using these black style PTFE skates, and these just kind of have that typical type of experience you get with similar types of skates like this, where they do have just a slower overall type of glide. Just in general, feel a little bit more muddier when you do make the micro corrections. So the skates is probably one thing I will be upgrading on this mouse myself. Coming back over to the top, this doesn't feel like there is any additional type of a coating on here. It does have this plastic with a texture on it. They did obviously include the grip, so if you are somebody who does get sweaty hands, but aside from that, it hasn't been too bad for my hands, which are generally on the drier end of the spectrum. The plastic, however, on this mouse, coming in at the incredibly low weight that it does come in at, does feel quite a bit on the thinner end of the spectrum. So I just want to be clear with you guys. There's been a lot of videos out there going around with people pushing in and bending in the top shell of their mouse. I can do that on my mouse, but I'm putting quite a bit of pressure here on the top, and I'm not noticing any like real major areas of concern. And I try and focus mostly just on what I notice as I'm actually using it in game and gripping it. And I actually do have a pretty strong grip at times. Even though I always try and grip my slider, I feel like I get a little bit better aim when I do that just in general. But the one thing I do want to say about the integrity on this is if you were to just be really aggressive with this and push, you notice just a small amount of bend and flexing going on there. But honestly, nothing really that's too major for the shell integrity. Just holding this and gripping this normal, I don't notice like any major areas of weak points or any drastic flexing going on. So truly, the way that I use this in game, the shell on this has been feeling actually pretty solid as I'm using it. For mouse 1 and 2, this is actually using their mechanical switches. And the number one thing I want to say that I do notice about this mouse with the thinner plastic is mouse 1 and 2. The buttons on this, they do give you just a little bit more of just that thinner, like looser style of a clicking going on depending on where you click it. Now if I were to click here in the very middle, like right above the switch, you do still notice a little bit of play going on here, but not a whole lot. When you start to move further to the front or even in the back is where this softer style of plastic that you can bend pretty easily on mouse 1 and 2 just kind of gives you a little bit of a mushier style feeling of a click. So honestly, not really that bad, but not the tightest type of clicks that I felt. There's no real major areas that I've noticed of any concern, like any of the left to right play or anything like that. So the clicks on this, they do just feel all right. Again, just all around. I always preferred more stiffer mouse 1 or 2 buttons just to give you a little bit more of a crisper type of a click feeling. The scroll on this does feel pretty good. These steps, I'd say you get like a medium type of a step. They almost feel like they're a little bit on the lighter end, but you do have some pretty decent tensioning when you are actually scrolling this. And the center scroll click on this actually pretty lightweight and easy to spam if you did need to do so. For the side buttons, this is using glossy side buttons, so they do feel quite a bit different from the matte textured feeling that you do get over here on the actual shell itself. And I would say with these side buttons, the spacing on them and everything does feel pretty good. They give you almost like a pill shape style of a side button. The side button is the one part of this mouse. You can see just a little bit of improvement. You do get a little bit of playback here in the rear. I would say though, the pre-travel on this isn't too bad. You notice just a little bit here. And then the click on this honestly just kind of feels a little mushy. Like it almost feels like when you're clicking the button, like it's almost kind of moving the switch back a little bit. And once you click in, you just see where you can just almost like push the side buttons into the actual shell of the mouse. I'm trying not to be too aggressive here, but I am giving it kind of a stronger kind of a press and just kind of the same thing in the front. So you almost got to kind of be a little easy on these side buttons as you're using them so you don't push them too far into the shell. So let's go ahead and we will drop a click quality sound test. All right, so when it comes to the weight and balance, by far the best and most impressive thing about this mouse, everything about the balance on this has felt like it is spot on. And when I do drop this on my scale, you know, I honestly, recently I've been complaining about people advertising on the weight of their mice, plus or minus, and it's always more than what they advertise. And in this case, they advertise at 36 and it is coming in less at 34.7 grams. So really impressive stuff from Corsair. I really like how they gave you access to a web-based driver for this mouse, huge plus. The web driver on this, however, is very minimalistic. I'll go ahead and show you the types of settings that I've been using as I've been setting up this mouse. So it doesn't have any type of a click to bounce setting or anything like that in here, but these are the settings that I have been using as I've been testing this out. And when it comes to the performance, since there is not a click to bounce setting accessible in the web-based driver, it does look like this is currently set to an 8 millisecond click to bounce setting. I'm not going to chart this number because I actually did reach out to Corsair and they said that they are working on a firmware update to address this. So once that does become available, I will make sure to update you guys with the new numbers. I'll go ahead and pin a comment down below in this video, and I'll also post my results over on my X account. All right, so when it does come to the shape of this mouse, I've honestly been really enjoying the shape a lot. This does almost have like a smaller, in between a small and a medium style of a shape to me. So I feel like this mouse has been working out really solid with me across just a bunch of different various types of grip styles. Might be too small for a lot of people to palm out there, but I feel like you can get a pretty decent fingertip and especially even a claw grip out of this mouse as you're using it. And honestly, I really do like the shape of this mouse. So this mouse has been a real joy for me to use in game. Let's go ahead and just jump straight into some of the comparisons. Now we're going to start out with the Dareu A950 wing. This is the USA version, the wing. They also did have another version. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, released out there for the Chinese market. But clearly, as you can see, these mice next to each other, they are very similar to one another. Pretty much have mostly the exact same shape. There are differences, however. The Corsair mouse does come with a much better skate design. Another thing is over here on the side, the A950 wing does have these exposed buttons where they did actually raise up the side over here for the Corsair mouse. So I actually do like this a lot more, especially given the fact and considering how small, or the fact that this mouse is on the smaller end of the spectrum. Here's the curve profile going from the top, mid, down the sides, and here's a look of them next to each other. And I do want to say that just overall, the feeling between both of these mice, just the Corsair mouse, honestly, the build quality on it does just feel like it's just done a little bit better and a little bit more solid. I did talk about this A950 wing in the past, how you can like push mouse 1 and 2 in the shell. I've been really trying to do that on this mouse, and I haven't noticed it being an issue at all. I can do it, and just everything about the tolerances on this do just feel like it's buttoned up and tightened up a little bit more, at least over my copy of the Wing. So let's go ahead and drop the shape comparison between both of them. All right, so next up, we will put it up against the Razer Viper Mini Signature Edition. The width of these not really that far apart when it does come to another. This one does feel like it is a little bit longer though. I'll just go ahead and show you the top curve profile from the top down the sides, what that looks like. And here's a shot of them over here on the side with the front to back. Since I just reviewed the Logitech GPX2C, let's go ahead and put these up to each other really quick. The GPX2C does feel a little bit wider over here on the sides. You do get a longer feeling of a mouse though when it does come over here to the Sabre V2 Pro. Here's a look at what the curve profile does look like on the sides. Then the curve from the top down to the sides almost feels like it's a little bit wider up here on the top of the Sabre V2 Pro. And here is a look at them from the sides. All right, and then last but not least, we'll compare it to one of my favorite gaming mice of all time, the Lamzu Maya. And looking at the shape on both of these, the size of these not really that far apart when it comes just to the overall length. The bottom grip width, the Maya might just be a little bit wider, but where you do notice a difference is this top. The way it curves from the top mid down the sides, the Maya does feel wider at the top, where this mouse just kind of feels like it's a longer, a little bit more narrow feeling version once you do have it in the hands. But here's a curve profile from the front to the rear on both of these. Alright guys, so that about wraps things up on the brand new Corsair Sabre V2 Pro. And I've been really trying to go into like just as much detail as I can explain things with you guys since there are so many mice out there on the market. I do want to say that overall though, everything about the design on this, I really do like this mouse a lot. I like the shape. I like the way that it games. Just the feeling in the hands is pretty good as well. Obviously I feel like there could have been some areas of improvement here. Putting a coating on this, and probably if they would have used just a little bit thicker of plastic, especially on mouse number 1 and 2, made it a little bit more stiff, not as flexible and bendy. I really just feel like it could have just kind of taken this mouse up just a little bit, but all around it still feels really good. This is something that I do actually really enjoy gaming on. Just know that if you are going to be picking this up, that it does have just that little bit of a lighter feeling in the hands when it does come to just a plastic being just a little bit bendy and stuff like that. And again, you only really notice it, or at least I did, on mouse 1 and 2 when I am actually using it. It would have been nice if the side buttons, again, they just have that mushy feeling, since when you are actually clicking these in, if you kind of press aggressively, you just kind of feel like you feel the button or the switch moving in as you're actually pressing on it. Aside from that, I really do like this mouse a lot, truly. And I feel like a lot of people out there could love it, especially coming in at the weight that it is coming in at. Even though there are other mice out there that feel more solid, I would say just about all of them do have a little bit of a heavier weight as well. So if you are looking to get a mouse that, in my opinion, has a really solid shape, games really well, and is one of the lightest mice out there on the market, especially coming in at its size, then I could absolutely recommend checking this one out. But I do want to say that I am very impressed with what Corsair is doing here, bringing us another option, since, you know, they're a bigger brand. Probably going to be seeing this in bigger retailers and stuff like that. So really cool, considering the fact that this does add a pretty unique and different option to a lot of the other things that are out there, especially coming in at just the absolutely incredible weight that this does come in at. So if you guys do have any additional questions or feel like I left anything out, please let me know in the comments down below. If you had enjoyed watching this video and are interested in seeing more videos like this in the future, please drop this video a like and subscribe to my channel. And thank you guys so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next one.